listen, this guy that could barely express himself is being pushed by the former governor, another thief, Oshiomhole. Oshiomhole, who is also a senator, is a godfather, right? And Oshiomhole has brought the federal might to Edo State to make sure that whatever it takes, everything that it takes, Obadonkey and his own godson, I swear, they would leave the Osadebe house. Is that the name of the government house in Edo? Osadebe house. Anyway, so he said he's done so much, he's done so well that he realized that the Nigerian police is working for the APC. Can you imagine? APC candidate is using the Nigerian police helicopter to campaign. That tells you all you need to know. Okay, and what they are up against. He said that Oshiomhole has a 2 APC. This time is not the party. It is armored personnel carrier. War no deal, but they carry APC. According to him, they have 2 APC protecting Oshiomhole's property in Edo. Why would they do that? It's because they want to come and take this state by force. Hey, you've done 8 years, right? Let the people kind of choose who is going to be their governor, okay? No, we can't let that happen. Because you see, he's probably going to have to live the rest of his life on the run. Kind of. He won't really enjoy whatever he's managed to steal or loot or diverted from that state and his own stooges. To cover his ass, I swear, must become the governor by all means. And if it means them having to die to achieve that, they would achieve that. Unfortunately, 4 years ago, the same Obadonkey enjoyed something that was so unique. Despite the federal might as well, the Edo people stood behind him. But what did he pay them with? Eventually, more lies and lies. Well, let's go to Edo State, where he had these chats with Sheung. The first one was, what have you really done in Edo? His response.
Since you got into office, you've received in excess of over 100 billion as a governor. What have you done with that? Some roads, your opponent will criticize you to say they are in a devastating form, and you can list a whole lot of roads in Edo State that are being devastated and left and now it's in fact raining, and some of these roads are impassable. So if you say you've gotten these loads and loads of money, how do you defend to the people of Edo State who voted into office that this is what you use their money for?
Well, I think it's rather sad that you evaluate development just in terms of things, infrastructure like roads alone. You know, roads are important, but they're important for a purpose. What do they do? Why do you build infrastructure like roads, electricity? Why? It's to improve the human conditions and human circumstances. In the case of Edo State, it's on record, the data is there. There is no government in Edo State that has built as many roads as my government. Over the last 8 years, we've built in excess of 1,400 kilometers of road. And what is interesting about these roads are they are internal roads to Edo State. Edo has a very significant opportunity in terms of its location. Edo is at the hub of transportation in Nigeria. So you cannot go from the western part of Nigeria, from Lagos, west, to the east, or to the south, or to the north, without going through Edo. And all of those road networks are federal roads. So Edo, for instance, has one of the largest network of federal roads. And they crisscross even the center of the city. So whether it's the road coming in from Lagos Obowo Road, which is a major artery, it's a federal road. I can't touch it, they will not allow me to fix it. Whether it's the road going south-south to Sapele to Warri, that's a federal road, I can't touch it. And the federal government will not fix it. Whether it's the one going to the north, the Auchi Road, Apapava Road, these are all federal roads. Even when we've appealed to the federal government to allow us, it hasn't happened. I'll give you an example.
But states actually construct federal roads and get repayment later on.
No more. It used to be, but not anymore. And I'll tell you, we haven't had some more interesting road financing for roads. Take the Benin-Asaba Road, right? We joined the concessionaires to be partners with the concessionaires so that that road can be fixed. Money has been raised, but for 1 year, the federal government has refused to give final approval. So what do? So what we've done instead is to build our own alternative state roads. So if you are going to Edo North, for instance, today, you don't have to go through the main federal road. You just go through, our roads, the ones we've constructed from Sobe to Sabongidaora, for instance, going into Edo North. On the eastern flank, ditto the same thing. So we're constructing alternative internal state roads.
But these roads are often flooded, Governor.
Not the ones we have designed recently and built. The roads you will talk about are maybe the roads in the GRA when they were designed and built many, many years ago. They didn't have need for drainage. But today, there's been 2 master drainage plans and studies and construction that has occurred that we are now using to plan construction of roads.
Do you know the name they call you? Mr. MOU, the MOU governor.
Yes.
You signed a lot of that.
Yes.
Well, how much of that have you practically bring to bear?
Very interesting, because the president just came from China and he signed quite a few.
You can tell that it's just a bunch of useless man. I know all his supporters who are watching me right now will disagree, but if they born you well, right? Come and defend him here. African Wahala. Because I know, you know something about Nigerians, right? They usually have their preferences. My criminal is better than your criminal. My thief is better than your thief. And a lot of them will feel kind of like, what are you saying? What are you saying? If you see them here, as usual, please get rid of them. Thank you. I have a lot on Edo State, and his worst, or his own worst, it was a guy. Okay, it was a guy, or should I say, Oba Donkey happened to be a guy that came with so much prospects. He's educated, he's a business guy who has been in the business world, he's a smart guy, but it is Nigerian political terrain. It's just a matter of time, right? Before he fell into that same hellhole of selfishness, greed, and self-centeredness. You get that now? And he lost it so much that the Edo people got fooled because Edo people are like, they don't want Godfather that much. We say they don't like Godfather because when Oshiomole brought him, he probably was more or less like his godfather too. But he was a smart guy that a lot of Edo people felt like, it's going to be so different. But it didn't kind of take long. And then it fell into that same trap of nothingness. And that is why if you see infrastructural decay in Edo State, you could swear for that guy. But it is because they can always tell themselves, government cannot do everything. Or he tried. He tried. He did his best. It's not easy. He's thinking like that. And that is why when he speaks, you can tell how he struggles. He tells you the data is there. What data? What data exactly? Edo State is more or less like one of the most backward states. State that has much prospects. At the end of the day, completely mismanaged. In a space of 7 to 8 years, the amount of money that crossed the hand of this guy is more than ₦1 trillion, including the debts. I barely see any good video from that place. When you see the state of their schools, when you see the state of their healthcare, and then the road, of course. So what they usually tell themselves is that the road, na federal road. And I used to say, so the people, Edo people, where they live in that axis and suffering from that, all of that hardship there, right? Are they federal people? Are they Edo people? They are supposed to be Edo people. Edo states have so much potential to the point that, Baba, they have their own refinery. I don't know if it's completed or not. I think he says something about that. I'm going to show you that, right? But they always tell themselves that the worst they are being offered is always better than what they have no idea of elsewhere. So they call him a demand of MOU, Mr. MOU. That is, he will sign an MOU, memorandum of understanding with this. And they'll say, I'm bringing that one there, I'm bringing this or that. However, none of them actually materializes. And listen to me. Maybe say there are others that I feel better, I mean, kind of better or not, all right? But we are talking about Edo. The reason why somebody like him would never want any other person to take over there is because the moment he is done for, even those people who claim to be defending him on social media, they go stone him when they come to realize what he has done, what he actually done to them. So if you see any of them here, don't be surprised though. It is pretty much like there are many of them who are indeed, one way or the other, you know, like personally benefited from his government, okay? They've benefited and they are very vociferous as well. They are like the APC, Ekpekebe supporters too. They will make you think. Talking about Obaseki is because you are supporting Oshiomhole, which they believe that Oshiomhole was worse. And Obaseki is not perfect, but it's better. You get that now? So, talking about MOU this, MOU that, again, unverifiable sort of nonsense that is spewed. None of them you could actually show or prove because they don't exist in reality. Here.
That we are now using to plan construction of roads.
Do you know the name they call you? Mr. MOU, the MOU governor.
Yes.
You signed a lot of that.
Yes.
Well, how much of that have you practically bring to bear?
Very interesting because the president just came from China and he signed quite a few. And why MOUs? You sign memoranda of understanding when you want to bring in a partner to do a business with you. So, everything we've done for us as government, our responsibility is not to do business. It's to partner and bring in partners to do business with us. The responsibility of government is to provide the enabling environment for business to happen. And since you are not the one putting your money in a particular venture, you have to sign an understanding with that person that you will do certain things for that project to happen. And that is what we have done. And fortunately for us, 80% of the MOUs we've signed have materialized.
80%?
80%.
Can you name some of these projects?
So, take the Edo refinery project, for instance. It's up and running.
Is it on stream now?
It's on stream.
How much of content does it produce per day?
Well, when it gets crude allocations, it produces everything. But
has it been tested? Has it been primed?
Precisely. So if you have time, I'll ask you to just visit and see yourself. But the opposition has a very powerful negative machinery because they were not able to do this. If you look at a retail space, for instance, ShopRite, struggled to have retail malls, for instance. Today, it's there for you to see. We're building what's it called, a major 4-star hotel with only the Radisson Group. It's there. These are all projects.
Is that still in the hands of? Because there are those who say that now has fallen into you and your friends' hands.
Well,
it's off the state government's hands, and the state government has spent money into it.
No, government has recovered more. It's all its money plus a profit. So we recovered all our money, and we have a 20% stake. That's the whole idea of financial engineering: creating things when you don't have the money and making it happen.
And you mentioned only two of these MOU.
Everything else, whether it's the ethanol plant, the greenfield ethanol plant, I can go just mention inspired. It's outdated. We need a new structure to run the economy of the state.
So a restructuring must happen.
If we're just wasting time, if it doesn't happen, we're not going to move forward.
Let me bring you to something that you've said that a lot of people are bothered about. Why do you think that this election is a do or die affair?
It's a do or die because if they do, we die. If they do, we die. The level of impunity, the level of recklessness we see in the opposition party, if they take over Edo State, finish, that's the end.
But that's a very dangerous language that you have used. As a governor, a sitting governor,
yes.
When you tell your people and your followers that this election is a do or die, do you regret making that kind of statement?
Don't. If you know what has happened in the last few weeks, you will worry for Nigeria. Just drive down the line. A former governor of the state has more security cover than a current sitting governor. Has 2 APCs, armored personnel carriers, in front of his premises. A former governor campaigning in the opposition part for the opposition, by opposition, is using police helicopters to campaign for the opposition in Nigeria. As I speak, all day today, you have armed policemen across the state trying to arrest political opponents.
Do you have evidence of such a person?
Definitely, but you played a video last night of one of the people that was almost been abducted, and for the luck he had with a woman who screamed out was released. At 2 a.m. today in Aganebode, 2 people were kidnapped or arrested. This afternoon again in Eastern Central, which attempted to. You can't run in the state.
But these are some of the people they say you are harboring. These are some of the people that the police say they are looking for.
For what?
They say that you are harboring them in the government house. Yes. If the police is investigating a murder of a police officer, why are you not allowing the police to do his job?
It's a joke. How can the police be so biased in its so-called investigation? A crime was committed a month and a half ago at an occasion organized and orchestrated by the opposition party. There was no member of PDP at that event. The police, the IGP said he was investigating, and that's why he held people in detention without trial for over 3 weeks. Now, those charges were filed after pressure on the IGP. Do you know what they were charged for? They were not charged for murder. They were charged for illegal possession of firearms. You see, when you see such inconsistencies, it just tells you that, we are running, a very dangerous course.
So you don't have confidence in the police?
If you see what they have done, the evidence of what they have done, and the blatant way they've gone about it, it's like they forget that the police...
Don't get me wrong, Don't get me wrong, is a product of a failed country, a failed system as well. He is responding in accordance with the level of violence that is being unleashed on his own group too. So don't get me wrong about that. I'm talking about governance now, okay? There is this impression they give them. They said, that Oshiomole is the one that was funding Kabaka and gang. So the likes of Oshiomole's supporters, okay, they are considered as, cultists. They are considered as, agberos, who goes about extorting money from people forcefully. So when Obaseki started fighting Oshiomole, he put together his own group too, which is kind of drawn from the same, poorly run, people in that state. They put them and they call them the vigilantes. They set up, they train them. So their job is to give violence for violence. If Oshiomole's guys think that they have this monopoly of violence, then they should think again. So, normal Edo people who come from Edo, who are on the side, to them, he has brought relief. It's like, let's say Ambode. That time that they wanted to remove Ambode. If Ambode was like a smart street guy too, instead of falling into Tifnumbu's machination and coward. Let's say he just pull up and pick up on other thugs that are ready to be loyal to him. Or from the pool of Ifnumbu's thugs. Because it's like Oshiomole managed to control some of the thugs, Kabaka and Co, some of the cultists and all of their court boys who are armed. So it's like you are able to like pull some of them to your side, okay? And then harm them. Since now madness, they take cure madness. So to some Edo people, that was a bold move. That's a good one. Remove Kabaka from all this it's like removing what's that guy's name? MC Olueron and others who are like murderous guys in Lagos, right? Get rid of MC Olueron, get rid of all these Tifnubu boys from all the car park, right? In such a way that some of them have to like leave the state, run away. Okay? So to some people, yes, he's a man. For him to have the audacity to confront the deadliest group of people in Edo. And you know that's one thing about Nigerians. Nigerians are not interested in you having conversation around policies. They just want strong people, strong men. All right? Because they know that the reason why Tifnubu is strong is because Tifnubu controls tens of thousands of criminals. Okay? So if anybody want to be respected, like Tifnubu, then you must kind of weigh the same violence. And if you can do that, you will become the new hero. Like a lot of people will automatically just like you. That you are stealing from them, that you are kind of looting and mismanaging the whole place, won't really matter per se. In fact, they will be the one giving excuses for you. They will be the one to tell people that he's trying, he's the best. There are some people in Edo State that will tell you that Obaseki is the best. Best in what? They can't tell you. Best in education? Best in infrastructure? Best in security? No. Violence is still there. But the fact that he's got his own guys who are ready to stand, beat anybody, chase anybody away. So today, what Oshiomole did was that they brought in the police, right? And they started pointing at some of his loyalists in his own vigilante group. Okay? Some of his loyalists, they were able to point at them and they picked them up. I can see Polapenga telling us that they've arrested 35 supporters of Obaseki. What did they do? 35 supporters of Obaseki. What did they do? Are they like your normal, regular people? Are you being honest? Are you being honest? I'm asking you. That the people they picked, they are just like me and you, normal people like me and you. Is that what you're saying? Of course not. If they tell you that it's going to be do or die, it's because he's got his own guys armed, ready to confront anybody that Oshiomole and gang will bring. And guess who are the real victims? Ordinary Edo people who are always kind of getting caught in the crossfire of their fights. And in the process, it doesn't matter if you are stealing from them or not. The fact that he can stand and challenge the man who think is the godfather is above everybody. That alone makes him a hero to some people. When you begin to probe governance, they make things up and tell you that you cannot. You want him to go and construct a federal road? Okay, what about your own main inner roads? What about the roads from all the farms? Do you know that Edo State is one of it's one of the highest producers of cassava in Nigeria? I'm talking about cassava, and people they grow cassava everywhere. But that of Edo is extra. But they have been suffering from the Fulani terrorism, suffering from other criminal activities that have made it difficult for these farmers in the Edo State, right, to really function normally. And they will tell you it's not his fault now. That one is not his fault now. So you want him, is it the federal government? You are being dishonest. A lot of you are so dishonest. And that is why I said, somebody was saying that in that comment that maybe you should come and help. I don't get dog in your fights. I'm also from a state that is so mismanaged. And guess what? Ogun State is one of the backward states in Nigeria with all the potential that Ogun State has. Go to Ogun State. If you sabi cry, you will cry for us too. So I'm not kind of trying to be like a sanctimonious here. Just trying to show the rest of you that, yeah, you may be comfortable with my criminal is better than your criminal. My thief is better than your thief. And you can give all the excuses you have in the whole world. And that's what actually makes these guys last this long. They will last forever. Because a lot of you are willing and ready to actually speak for them, defend them because of where you are coming from. I mean, what is going to be the template? I remember when we do say, that people need to fight for good governance. I say, where are they going to see that from? Like, what's going to be the template? People that they don't understand what good governance is. They have no idea what it is like. So wherever they are being offered,